beautiful summer afternoon here on a Friday in Chicago, the 2022 Chicago Open. It is the third and final Gold Series of the year, and everybody out. I think a lot of people playing hooky from work today to come down and watch some amazing volleyball here at Oak Street Beach. Welcome inside Stadium Court. I'm Dane Blanton alongside my partner Cameron Irwin, and wow, it has been a fun morning so far. A lot of fireworks, but on Stadium Court, it's kind of been business as usual. Here's another, a number 2 versus a number 9 setup. What do you see happening here? Well,
we've got Emily Stockman alongside Kraft facing off against Hughes and Kolinske, and this is a match that actually could be very, very interesting because I have a feeling Emily Stockman and Kraft, they're looking for a little bit more consistency in their game. They can bring dynamic play both defensively as well as offensively, but I will also say Hughes and Kolinske have been playing highly efficient and very disciplined volleyball all the way from Manhattan Beach, even now into Chicago.
Yeah, a lot of crossover stories between these two partners. We'll get to that in a minute, but let's go to player introductions to Mark Sherman.
Yes, it is time to get into the second round of the winners bracket, everybody, and this should be a fun one for a few reasons. We got generations of national champions with us. So we got Manhattan Beach Open champions on the court. This is going to be real fun to go undefeated into the final round of the winners bracket on Saturday. Let's meet the teams, shall we? This first young lady, we're going to find a way. I don't know if they have it. We're going to get the graphic. We're going to get your dog on the broadcast, on the big board, because I can't get enough. I can't get enough of Cow Pig Dog. Ladies and gentlemen, out of Wichita State, the Shocker out of Colorado Springs, Colorado. Give it up for Emily Stockman. Absolutely. Talked about those generations of USC national champions coming out on the court. She's played 2 years, and she's got exactly 2 national championships. She brings the firepower and incredible young athlete who you're going to know for a long time. It's Megan Kraft. And somebody who also had a very successful career at USC. Not only is she a 74-time national champion out of the University of Southern California, she is also a Manhattan Beach Open champion. Ladies and gentlemen, out of Costa Mesa, let me hear it for Sarah Hughes. And her partner out of Pepperdine University also now will get her name on the coveted Manhattan Beach Pier and looking to go back-to-back here in Chicago. Let me hear it for Kelly Kolinske.
Well, the table is set 1 versus 9. Sarah Hughes, Kelly Kolinske will be on the left side of your screen. On the right side, Megan Kraft and Emily Stockman. As we look at the brackets, both of these teams have won to get to this point. You see tomorrow the winner of this one will play the winner of Gradina Pavin versus Chang and Flint. So it only gets more difficult as we move forward in the bracket. Sarah Hughes starts things off serving Megan Kraft cross court.
Jumbo! That's one way to start Sarah Hughes, and I love that already you're seeing the hands pulled out for Kelly Kolinske. That's been an area of development for both her and Hughes in their game, trying to run that tempo offense and moving the ball around that much more here in 2022.
Oh, a little wrist away by Megan. Is just out of bounds.
The 19-year-old out of San Diego, California, that was mentioned that she's a 2-time national champion from USC, but it's been so fun. I actually remember when she was kind of first playing beach volleyball down in San Diego and how much she's developed to that point. But I will say one thing that has always remained constant is her dedication to the craft, which is rather, a little bit of a play on words there.
No, but you're right. She's one of those individuals, much like Sarah Hughes, has been documented from a very young age, their focus and their playing on the beach very young. There was no question on what direction they were going to go.
And she did play indoor back in high school. I think it was, Torrey Pines High School?
Torrey Pines High School. crushed it there.
Yeah, I was going to say, both her and Delaney Maple.
State champions. Doing it all. And Megan Kraft was the #1 recruit coming out of high school, as was Sarah Hughes for the beach game.
It's been fun not only to see her grow in her game, but also how much she's grown as well. Now just above 6 feet tall. Makes for a very dynamic blocker. And I think the thing is, you watch how long her arms are too and what she can do in terms of taking away certain angles.
Soft block by Kolinske. Stockman's going to have an opportunity. Great dig by Stockman. Can't put this one away just yet. Our longest rally for sure, and Megan Kraft terminates and finishes it off. So important to put that ball away early. A lot of times you're not going to get chance number 2, 3, and 4.
Second or third chance opportunities, which we did just see, and that's a great point. Sarah Hughes, though, she will find those second and third chance opportunities because she's such a great defender. She'll try and put it away as quickly as possible, but she creates those opportunities with her defense.
Megan Kraft back to serve. Just finished her sophomore year at USC, 2 national championships, and really trying to push her game on the professional level and give herself the best opportunity to play or go for the 2024 games in Paris. I think everybody trying to kind of jockey position to see where they'll be at come January when qualification starts. And
well, and this is a team on the side of Hughes and Kolinske that is right now a very solid front runner. Well, you also think of Betsy Flint and Kelly Chang up there at the top. Not to mention Sarah Sponsel, Therese Cannon, all kind of jockeying for that position. Those are my kind of 3 you're looking at, right?
Yeah, I would agree with you 100% right now. Those are kind of the front runners. It's, you know, Chang and Flint, who won in Hamburg a few weeks ago, and I think they took over that #1 spot for the Americans. And the #2 spot belongs, I believe, to Hughes and Kolinske. And then, what's the third team?
Would be Cannon and Sponsel.
Cannon and Sponsel. And all 3 of those teams are just really stacking up the points.
And don't forget Cloth and Nuss, too.
Yep. Here goes Sarah Hughes. Somehow she gets that back into play, and a nice drop shot by Kolinske, which sets him up for this free ball situation. Oh, and Megan Kraft diving into the angle on Hughes.
What a block from Meg Kraft. I mean, that thing was beautiful because Hughes was actually kind of off the net there.
And that was a huge aggressive move that took up a ton of space.
Yeah, jumping into that angle, kind of delaying and waiting, hanging up at the top of her jump. Beautifully done.
Nice set by Kolinske, a nice little chop shot. It's interesting, Sarah Hughes going up against Megan Kraft. Sarah Hughes kind of set the standard in collegiate beach volleyball, doing her thing and winning 2 NCAA championships. And then it's kind of like you pass the torch in a sense. They had no crossover or ever played together, but Megan Kraft is now trying to continue what Sarah Hughes and Kelly Chang had done.
100 straight wins for Sarah Hughes and Kelly Chang back playing together at USC. It's also got Tina Gradina playing alongside Sarah Pavin, graduate of USC. That is Tina Gradina.
That play right there, very difficult to set that ball. Meg, at her size, could hit that ball over on that second contact and end that rally quick.
Yeah, and that might be an area of development for her as she continues to kind of create opportunities and offensive opportunities for herself through her professional game. Trying to add to that arsenal. Great stab by Stockman.
Great dig with the swing. It's out of bounds long. We'll take the side switch.
And we talk about it so much. There's that first part of getting the dig, but the second part of putting that ball away, and Stockman in the right place to make the defensive play, but couldn't hit the court.
Yeah, and I think a huge key component to that is body control, right? Like you think of Sarah Hughes, who's one of the really elite at transition defense to offense. And I think about how hard it is. You're flying around so quick. You've got to be able to get rebalanced, get your feet up and underneath you, to then see the court on the other side and make a play. That's incredibly difficult versus side-out scoring. As Sarah Hughes does the Sarah Hughes, goes on one again. I think that's like 5 for 5 today for her.
I think you're right. And she knows when to do it, when to go over. And it's interesting because I called it Sarah Hughes. Rich Lamborn actually said he called it the Ludwig. And then he came up with a good point. He said, we'll start calling it the Hughes when she wins a gold medal.
Fair.
And so, you know, Rich said that. But today, I'll tell you what, she is batting 1,000 with that over on one. It's such a great play to do it, but you can't abuse it, right? You have to do it at the right time.
Stockman, of course, a great collegiate player as well, playing professionally indoors. She was a Wichita State Shocker, the other WSU.
And there's Kelly Larson, now Kelly Kolinske, got engaged on this very court back in 2019 to Bill Kolinske. Played her college volleyball at Pepperdine, both indoor and on the beach, and was a spectacular player. Poke shot to the corner by Hughes. Bit of a broken play on both sides, but it seems like the broken plays right now are going to Kolinske and Hughes.
Yeah, no, that's a very fair point, as it's 12-6. And I think part of that, too, we mentioned in their first matchup of the day, are some of those extended rallies by just those quick contacts, keeping the ball live, great ball control off one hand, off two hands, and those extended rallies kind of making that difference right now in 6-12.
For Kraft and Stockman, they had to go 3, taking on Jeannie Arango and Lauren Finrich. Both these teams find themselves in the second round.
Talking a lot about these girls' college careers. Here's a good look at some championships that current AVP players have. Therese Cannon with a couple, Kelly Chang, Gradina, Hughes, Kraft, Savvy Simo with 2 for UCLA, as well as Sarah Sponsel. And it has just been a breeding grounds for amazing professionals, and it's fun to see so many great players coming out.
You know, and one name not on there is that of Kelly Kolinske, or formerly Kelly Larson, who actually, before it became an NCAA sport, she also was a 2-time national beach champion in 2012 and 2014 when it was the AVCA championships, correct? And when she played for Pepperdine, she's also 2-time All-American, so she's got a few national championships of her own right.
Absolutely right, and the AVCA was instrumental in getting the sport to that 40-plus teams before the NCAA would even look at it. And then the first NCAA championship took place in 2016, but you're absolutely right. Prior to that, AVCA national championships were won by Pepperdine, by USC, by Long Beach, I believe. Started back in 2012, 2013. Kolinske on the back set, and she brings it cross body and hits the inside line.
And that set was one of great difficulty, even though it was beautifully placed. That was not something easily done, considering the fact that not only is she taking it with her hands and going behind her shoulder, having her partner come work around, but also the wind is kind of moving all over the place. There's not a clear-cut direction right now in terms of which way it's going.
And let's take our technical timeout. 14-7.
14-7, not really what you want to be at the technical. You want to be at 12-9, 11-10. Keep it close right now. Hughes and Kolinske doubling the score of Kraft and Stockman. And It's tough to come out, but it's tough to play Hughes and Kolinske coming off a championship in Manhattan Beach just a week ago. They're playing on top of their game with a lot of confidence.
Yeah, I think that confidence comes from great discipline too, right? Like, not only have they played phenomenal volleyball, but they've also leaned into their team. They've got Evie Matthews down there under their box. They also have a great strength coach who they have celebrated time and time again with, Mikkel Jenkins, who both of them have also said the team that's behind them is so critical. They both feel strong, they both feel healthy, and especially for somebody like Kelly Kolinske, who had to sit out for some tournaments last year. She's now back out after some knee issues. She's stronger than ever before, so they've kind of got the whole package coming together at the right time.
Yeah, and isn't that the truth, though? You have to build a team as a professional. You hire your own coach, you hire your own strength and conditioning, you hire your own sports psychologist. I mean, there's so much that is put into this final product when all four of these women step onto the court. It's not just throwing out the balls and playing some volleyball. There's a lot that goes into it, and right now I agree with you. Their team behind the team, Sarah and Kelly's, has been on fire.
Kraft with a big swing out of the timeout, 8-4.
Out of the technical timeout. Kraft and Stockman trying to close this lead. Wow, Sarah Hughes is dialed in. It's that from the right side with that ball having to cross her body to get to that right shoulder. She has a really solid line shot and a really solid cut shot. So hard to defend.
Yeah, I mean, it's making you have to play every inch of the court, right? So defensively, you've got to play the percentages at that point. Wait on defense as well. Try and find the right read.
Tough short serve. And there it is, another broken play going the way of Hughes and Kolinske.
Yeah, but I feel like that was a little bit of a missed opportunity there for Emily Stockman on the side out. She got a good pass, nice set, and instead she sees the pulling block, but instead of taking a big swing at it, she kind of goes with like a 60-70% swing. That's going to get transitioned out every time by Kelly Kolinske. That's a better ball.
A little more heat there. Maybe she listened right there, but the poke shot, the reverse pokey, and Sarah kind of wishing and hoping for that one in, but it ends up out.
Kelly Kolinske still looking on the ball mark.
That was close, very close. Megan Kraft back to serve. Jump float out of the middle, going to Kolinske. Nice delay by Kraft. And there's a poke shot by Kolinske. It's a tough play. Nice block by Megan, but what do Kolinske and Hughes do? They give themselves second and third opportunities. 17-9, Hughes and Kolinske in the lead.
I think Hughes and Kolinske are one of the best in transition. Just so deadly to have to face.
Great up, but a bit of confusion right there. It looked like Stockman tried to go around and two players collided, so she could not make a play on it. But right now, it's the serving of Kolinske and Hughes that it's getting Kraft and Stockman in trouble.
And they're moving the ball around, right? We've seen the short serves come up now, facing off against the middle. That's a great set. Kraft saying the same thing.
Yeah, like a wider set right there. Made the blocker move laterally, and it opened up the hitting window for Kraft. Emily Stockman out of Wichita State. Gonna jump float. That ball clips the top of the net, and it'll be an ace. So even though they're in a bit of a hole right now, maybe they can grab some momentum, maybe turn it around in terms of the positivity on their side and roll that into the second.
Yeah, at this point, When I say you have nothing to lose, you have everything to gain in terms of momentum, right? Maybe they can find a defensive play or take a big swing at a ball just to try and find that extra little something to propel them into set 2.
Yeah, it's almost like they need to shift out of gear. They're kind of stuck in second, need to get going. But the service pressure continues to come from Hughes and Kolinske.
Yeah, and serving into the wind, too.
Well, I'll tell you what, that is a fantastic side out because the pass was way far to the left. Somehow Kraft got it up in a hittable position and they win the point, but not easy to side out if the pass isn't there. Here's Kraft with a beautiful short serve.
I'm not even sure what Hughes' hand did on that ball. I mean, what? That was wild. I mean, a close-up slow-mo. She like closed it, turned it, kind of waffled it, but it was all on purpose, which is the crazy part.
It almost looked like she was going cross court.
Yeah.
At the very last second. And there's Hughes. She's on it. Left-handed stab, but Stockman's going to have a shot, and she is stuffed. Kelly Kolinske jumping up and over and finishing set number 1 with an exclamation right there. Wow, what a move by Kolinske. Hughes and Kolinske dominant in the first set, 21-12. Set number 2 coming right up.
Get ready for a whole new wave of White Claw. New full flavor White Claw Surf. Sensational refreshment for a taste like no other.
We all know it's a good idea to recycle. But what happens to that aluminum can or all that paper after you put it in the recycling bin? Where does it go? What does it become in its second life? See how WM is always working for a sustainable tomorrow at WM.com/stories.
It's the choices we make that define us.
Tryon Trevor's coming off a tough, heartbreaking loss.
And ultimately, the enemy is within. Some people want it, some wish for it, but others make it happen.
Tryon Trevor, super lethal, bringing fire and passion to the court.
How will you take charge?
Back here at Oak Street Beach in Chicago for the Gold Series. Take a look at the women's standings. Top 4 and 2 wild cards will advance to the AVP Championships. That'll be in Phoenix on September 23rd and 24th. Hughes and Kolinske already clinched top 4. So did Cannon and Sponsel. And then it gets interesting after that. Quoth and Nuss on the outside looking in, but they've been playing solid. set number 2. We get it started here. Hughes and Kolinske dominant in the first set, 21-12. And looking to continue that here in the second set. But what needs to happen on the side of Stockman and Kraft? What do they need to change up?
Well, it's a great question. I think part of that is their offensive efficiency, right? We've seen some great defensive plays. That's going to help from the jumbo. But there was at one point, right, we saw the push set out to the pin for Megan Kraft. Late in set number 1, I feel like their setting started to improve off of some of the passes that maybe weren't what they were hoping for. But I think when that set was exactly where they needed it, they were citing out a much better efficiency, which is no surprise. So I think maybe trying to figure out whether it's the pass or the set, getting themselves in better posture to have a good swing and a good look at the defense on the other side.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. I think they need to pass that ball a little bit better, but the pressure is high. Kolinske and Hughes are placing that ball. I love that offense right there by Stockman.
And again, that's what that pass is going to enable them to do, right? Run some different looks. You saw Stockman go around to the left side, added some pace there, gave herself a chance to actually take a swing at the ball.
Both Stockman and Kraft, very athletic. It's just a matter of staying in system. The ball may have been touched. No.
But see that set a little bit too low and a little too tight. Well dug. Those are good. And it's a tough ball to make, don't get me wrong. That's tight to the net. She's trying to get her partner a good tempo set, doing everything she can just to keep it out of the touch of the block. But you can't give Sarah Hughes any extra chance to put the ball away. She will.
Wide set to Kraft, out to the antenna. And that was a tough one, trying to go back to the angle with that much distance between setter and hitter.
Yeah, without a doubt. And there's a little bit of variation there in terms of timing of approach, right? You saw Kraft kind of trying to hang up there, hitting that ball on her way down. And anytime you start to run those tempo offenses or expanded offenses, there's going to be more availability for variance, right? Like it's going to become more difficult to have that perfectly timed.
Sarah Hughes with another kill down the line right there, and will take a turn every 7 points, so nobody gets an advantage due to the sun or the wind. And right now, Cameron, we're getting a little right to left wind.
Yeah, so now wind in the face of Hughes and Kolinske. We'll call that somewhat the good side. It has been a little bit, we'll say, variant in terms of what we've seen. Will change on a moment's notice.
Great set right there, and you heard the call, right. A lot of players like to use line or angle. Some use right and left. You have a preference?
Well, I think it depends on where you're attacking from too, right? So a lot of times if you're coming out of the middle, I kind of like that right-left call versus the line and angle, but that's just me.
Nice pass by Kolinske. Stockman's all over it. She'll have an opportunity to put this one away. Pokes it, and Hughes is there. Set is good. And now Stockman will have another opportunity. Hughes on one, and there it is once again. Sarah Hughes knowing when to go over on the first contact, and wow, does she look good.
Was that one of those like Bally's predictors, is how many on-ones Sarah Hughes is going to have? Because I feel like that would have been a really solid one to come into Chicago.
I think it will.
I would have put money on that.
If she keeps doing it this often, and this time she does it. This time she does it with a heater. This is a big hit, and she decides to go over. It's one thing to do it on a shot, but a hit is challenging.
Oh, net violation. Whoa! I thought it was on the other side.
I believe it was Stockman trying to set that ball. Kolinske went up and over, but the net took place on the bottom tape, I believe.
Oh, I thought I saw Kolinske touch as well on the top, reaching. Or maybe it was forced by the first.
Hughes is on it. And look at that slice and dice. Wow.
Okay, what is she doing with her hand? That's the second time. It's like she's going up with a closed fist or something. She is disguising what she's doing.
I like this. I've never seen you perplexed.
Because I don't feel like I've seen that as much from her.
I know, and if you had that, you might still be playing.
No.
Oh, tight set. And Kolinske pushing over the net.
9-3. And we're going to take team timeout.
Stockman and Kraft has seen enough right there. They're going to call a timeout with their coach, Scott Davenport. And Hughes and Kolinske will have a little chat with Evie Matthews, their coach. Both teams, they get one timeout, got to use it.
You know, it's funny because I feel like we've watched so much volleyball, right? You have a lifetime of volleyball. I have somewhat shorter lifetime of watching volleyball. But it's interesting because it's so fun to see the new wrinkles added to everybody's game, right? And I think of Sarah Hughes. I'm sitting here, I'm like, well, have I actually seen her do that? Am I crazy? Have you seen her do that kind of stuff with her hand before?
Yeah, she's got kind of an interesting contact, and sometimes she kind of cuffs the ball.
Yeah.
And you know, you usually like to have a big hand and to control it. Sometimes she has kind of a closed kind of club that is very hard to read which direction she's going.
You know what we call that, right? A Barbie hand, because
Barbie hand.
You know how Barbie hands have their four fingers are stuck together besides the thumb? I used to use that back in my coaching days.
Yeah, it's interesting. Sarah Hughes has worked so hard on her game, and she's really starting to perfect that cutty from the right and the high line. And if you have those two shots, as a defender, you kind of have to commit to one of them. You're not going to play in the middle and actually run it down. It's almost too difficult. Here we are out of the timeout, 9-3. Hughes and Kolinske with the lead. Soft touch.
It's just outside the antenna.
If you're just joining us, this is #1 seeded Sarah Hughes and Kolinske. On your left, to the right, #9 seed Megan Kraft and Emily Stockman. Here comes Kolinske. A roll shot to the corner, and they're on cruise control right now. They're just picking their spots. And I think it's because they're passing the ball a little bit too easy. The service pressure might need to be pushed a little bit.
I think that's a fair point, too. And I think that at times we've seen Stockman and Kraft try and, especially from the side they're now currently on, try and serve Hughes from time to time into that wind, which is now dead at this point. But I would love to see them try and maybe level that up a little bit. Again, you gotta go for it at this point or another.
Over to the line, 5-0.
And let's not forget, Megan Kraft, 19 years of age, just in her finishing her second year of collegiate beach volleyball. And so learning every time she steps on the court. It takes time. It takes time. We've seen the youngster Miles Partain finally break through this year at 20, but he's been knocking on the door last year, playing so many matches and so close and battling and learning.
Yeah, and I think, you know, those experiences of those close matches or the losses in the semifinals or even loss in the finals, those are all things you start to add to your I know it sounds weird, but it's almost like a dichotomy, right? Like they start to add to your confidence because you've been put into tough situations, and you start to learn exactly what your kind of your limits are and the things you need to grasp onto and get better at in order to pick up those last few points that are the difference makers between making a semifinal, winning a semifinal, or even winning a title on the AVP Tour.
Nice hustle right there, but unable to keep the ball in play are Stockman and Kraft. 12-5, Hughes and Kolinske. Kelly Kolinske out of Pepperdine University. Nice dig by Hughes, and a perfect set by Kolinske, and that ball ricochets off the block and out of bounds. And Hughes and Kolinske kind of can do no wrong.
Winner of this will head to the quarterfinals versus either Gradina and Pavin or Chang and Flint. That will be on the stadium court coverage tomorrow. 12:25 Central Time, of course. Short serve.
Beautiful set to the outside. And on the second contact, getting the touch is Kolinske, and make it 16-5 as we'll take a turn right here. And Kraft and Stockman really searching for some answers right now.
And you start to see Stockman take a couple big swings, right? Mostly into the angle. Hughes sitting there. Nice, easy dig by her.
Just underway in set number 2. Tina Rodriguez, Sarah Patton.
Make your Gold Series Chicago Open predictions on Valley Play's AVP Predictor game and take your shot to win 6 VIP tickets to the championships in Phoenix. Just scan the QR code or go to valleyplay.com/AVP to make your winning predictions. If you predict correctly, you win a free VIP package to the championships in Phoenix. Get your picks in now. Cameron, do you got your picks in?
You know, at this point, I'm thinking I wish that on-one from Sarah Hughes was a part of the game. That's all I'm going to say. But, of course, these teams fighting to get into Phoenix, it's a wonderful two-day event. And if you're wondering just how the scenarios could shake out, well, for the nerds like that of Mark Sherman, and I say that with a great tone of endearment, you can head to avp.com/news/Chicago Preview Scenarios 22, because he did a deep dive as to everything that could happen based off the Gold Series finishes from all 3 of our events. Again, that URL is at the bottom of your screen. Go check out the deep dive.
Here comes Emily Stockman. Serve to the middle, handled well by Kolinske. How about Stockman in the backcourt? Nice defensive play and a beautiful set. And the poke shot, so multiple opportunities for Stockman to terminate that rally, but Hughes playing some great D.
Again, check this out. This is Stockman, huge swing, and that's right on the platform of Sarah Hughes. Again, sitting in the angle, you got to challenge her on the edges, right? Can you force her to have to at least dig to the left or to the right?
Nice side out by Kraft and Stockman, but that set, if you notice, was coming from about 14 feet, 15 feet off. A beautiful set by Kraft, but it's hard to score points setting from that far off on a consistent basis.
Yeah, your vision's so limited, right? You're watching where the ball's coming from. Hard to keep your eyes down on the other side of the screen. Or excuse me, other side of the court. I think I said screen because I was worried about running into the screen.
Kolinske is everywhere, and now Hughes is going to have an opportunity. Perfect set, and wow. Momentum, playing with passion, desire, all sorts of confidence. Kelly Kolinske and Sarah Hughes, last week's champions in Manhattan Beach, looking to make it back-to-back titles by winning here in Chicago. And this is a good look at our Monster Hydro monster block of the day. It's Kolinske just owning the net.
I mean, check this out. We've seen this so often from Kelly Kolinske. Even though it's well dug, that's a nice redirect block back into the interior of the court, creating yet again another opportunity for the side of Hughes and Kolinske. Again, that's the Monster Hydro monster block of the day.
Nice roll shot by Kolinske, makes the score 19-8 right now, and just a really high level of play going on with Kolinske and Hughes. Nice kick out by Kraft. And she goes high off the block. Smart hit right there, and we'll take a switch, 19-9. Three-day tournament here in Chicago. You want to stay in that winner's bracket, get a couple of wins on a Friday, you're in great position. And there's the over on 2. Beautifully placed poke shot by Kolinske that brings us to match point.
You know, it's funny though, Sarah Hughes, even after that pass goes, oh man, that was way too tight. That was not on purpose, but her partner cleaned up the mess.
Kolinske going to Stockman for the match. Cut shot is down. Emily Stockman with a crisp angle right there.
Yeah, you love the contact. You could hear it. Very clean.
Second match point, Sarah Hughes from the right side. And there's that cut shot. You know what? She's hitting it at such a high angle right there. That's why the blocker's completely taken out. And I'll tell you what, Hughes and Kolinske came into this one laser focused. 21-12, 21-10. They could do no wrong.
Yeah, and I mean, those set scores are kind of the dictator there in terms of how well and efficient they are playing. Coming up in every phase of their game. I just love watching them play, especially in transition, their ability to not only dig points, but put them away and also create extra opportunities with that defense. Phenomenal job by the #1 seed.
So Sarah Hughes and Kelly Kolinske will move on. They'll face the winner of Tina Gradina, Sarah Pavin, the #5 seed, who goes up against Kelly Chang and Betsy Flint, the #4 seed. So all the work has been done for Sarah Hughes and Kelly Kolinske, and they'll be able to go back to the hotel, get some rest, and get ready for day 2 of the Chicago Gold Series.
I mean, there again is Kelly Kolinske doing what she does best. Stockman and Kraft tried to find some different looks in terms of their offense, but that type of stuff, come on, Sarah Hughes. She's just challenging you in every way possible. Laying out like that. It was nearly impossible for Stockman and Kraft to get that ball down on the sand of Hughes and Kolinske.
Yeah, you knew it was trouble when one of the first plays was Sarah Hughes jumboing to the corner, and they did not look back from there. Hughes was all over the court, making the defensive play and converting the majority of the time. Loving the over on 1. Wow.
I mean, just in terms of their individual efficiency, 667 for Sarah Hughes, 576 for Kelly Kolinske, just 2 combined hitting errors between the two. They tried to attack Kolinske, had 30 total attempts, but she walked away 17 of 30 with 0 hitting errors. Kelly Kolinske showing her chops.
Kolinske and Hughes winning that blocking battle as well. And it was total domination from top to bottom. So Hughes and Kolinske will be moving on to the 3rd round. They're done on a Friday. We'll see them on Saturday.